Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a look I did on my favorite housewife, Miss Emily Simpson. She's on the Real Housewives of Orange County TV show, and this is the look we did for the reunion show for season 15. So I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes to show you all the makeup magic that I did to create this glowing, glamorous look on Miss Emily Simpson. So stay tuned. So before I put makeup on any of my clients, I always prep their skin. Right there I was using Fix Plus's Moisture Spray by MAC to prime her skin. And then I'm going in with some moisturizers. One is from Beverly's. It's called their Hydra Matte, which is a more mattifying primer. And then Becca's Backlighting Primer Filter, which gives the skin a nice glow. And Smashbox's Pore Minimizing Primer, which also helps take down pores, makes the skin look flawless. After that, I'm applying Urban Decay's Eyeshadow Primer Potion to her eyelid. It preps the eye for any eyeshadow and helps everything stay on. Then I'm going in with Doll 10's Glam Goddess palette. I'm using Amy as the highlight above her brow and Aloha in her crease. So I start out with blending underneath the eyebrow to give it a little highlight on the brow bone. And I used this palette as well as the Warrior palette by Juvia's and some MAC eyeshadows as well. So here I'm coming in with the MAC eyeshadow called Nylon. It's a brightener, it really helps open up the eye. I put that on the inside corner. Then I'm going back to the Glam Goddess palette and using the Aloha in the crease. It's a more orange peach tone color, so it looks great for blending in with the gold eyeshadows I'm going to use. I take that from the outer crease all the way to the inside. This is also called a transition color. It really helps blend the shadows together, and it's just laying down basically a base before you're applying your other shadows. So that way it fades in and has a beautiful, effortless fade, which is really hard to get and takes practice, but I'm using a crease brush. This is a brush that's more pointed, coming back in with a little bit of highlight to emphasize again. And this is a crease brush from MAC. It's one of my favorites. This is the Warrior palette by Juvia's. It has some fantastic gold shadows in it. And I'm using Amina and Dahomey on the lid. I mixed those two shadows. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, but they're beautiful gold shadows. They look great on everybody. This palette is a great palette for bang for your buck, basically. It's not that expensive, and the shadows spread beautifully. They're really pigmented, and they'll last you forever. So I'm spreading this all on the lid to give her that really nice glow. And then I'm gonna come in with Espresso eyeshadow from MAC and put that on the outside to darken up this gold eyeshadow look. That's what I'm using now. This is another crease brush from MAC, but it's more condensed. It's a white fiber brush. And with that, it helps really press on the shadow onto the outer corner. So each crease brush does a different thing. So this one is for more condensed shadow. I also like to make sure when I'm doing an eyeshadow look like this that I don't do the foundation yet. That way I can blend and mix and the shadow can fall, and that's totally fine. And then I just go in with a wipe and clean it up. It makes the look really, makes it clean and easy without having to worry about where your product is and where you're really placing it. And that way I can get a great blend. I don't always do this, but for this type of look, it's totally fine. And here I'm coming in with some of the golds again and underlining her eye. Using a pencil brush to do this, so it's smaller condensed brush. That way I can place the product where I need it. And then here I'm wiping again the shadow underneath, like I mentioned. That way I clean it up and make sure we start fresh. So if you're not used to doing your makeup like this, it does take some getting used to because you're used to putting your face on and seeing it that way, and this can kind of be a different technique. But it works for smoky eyes, so that way, again, you're not really creating a mess underneath there with your concealer and making sure you don't have any dark circles. This is MAC's eyeliner in, it's a Prolongwear eyeliner called Rich Experience. It's a dark brown, it's almost a black, but it's a dark brown. I love lining the eye with this, especially for light colored people's eyes with, if they have light green, light blue eyes. This hint of brown really makes their eye stand out. And this is a long wearing eyeliner, like I mentioned, so it's completely waterproof, stays on, and stays put. Then I'm lining the top of her eye with this as well. And you can see it looks like a black, but it's just not completely as harsh. Then I'm making sure I'm blending everything out again, really, you know, making sure all the shadows kind of blend effortlessly together. Then I'm using Covergirl's Lashblast, very hard to say, Lashblast mascara. It's their waterproof. I use this on basically all my clients. It's amazing. I'm using, of course, a disposable wand on here though. But this is the color Very Black. I love this mascara because I go through mascara all the time. I don't know about anybody else, but in my kit, I replenish it all the time. So this is an affordable mascara that's incredible, stays put, and is really black and dark. So I love it. I've used it for years. There's other amazing mascaras out there, but if you are a makeup artist specifically and you want to, you know, keep buying stuff, it's good to pick the items you replenish most and try to do it affordably. So then I'm cleaning up any of the mascara that gets on the bottom. And then applying some wispy but thick lashes. I use Duo Lash Glue, it's my favorite. This is the black Duo glue. That way it blends in with her eyeliner. And these are just lashes from Amazon, actually. They are not, you know, high-end brand name, but I've found these fit her eyes so well, and I use them all the time on her. So I make sure they fit her eye. I put the eyelash on the middle and then kind of center it on the inside, scoot it over on the inside, making sure the inside is in the right spot before I move to the outside area. That way you're not poking the lash into the client's eye. And this goes to say with you guys doing it on your own, on yourself, same thing. Just center it over the eye and make sure your inner corner is in the right spot before putting down the outside corner. And then I go along and I squeeze the eyelash to the lash line. And prior to doing that, I'd put some mascara on her lashes. I like to do that so it blends in really well with the false lash. And then I do a coat of mascara at the end as well. So now I'm moving on to her face. The foundation I'm using is Makeup Forever's Y245 color. It's the Makeup Forever HD foundation. And I mixed it with a little Becca Skin Love. The color is Bamboo. And I mix a lot of foundations together. I find most people are multiple colors and need to, you know, have a little more yellow, have a little more pink, and mix it all together, a little more warmth in the skin. So the Skin Love foundation is very flawless, beautiful, lightweight. The Makeup Forever one is an HD foundation. There they are. So the HD foundation photographs beautifully. So I love mixing this in. It really doesn't have flashback, picks up the light really well, makes the client's skin look amazing. Then I'm going in with a concealer from MAC. It's Prolongwear concealer in NW25. I like this concealer because it spreads well. It is a little thicker, but at the same time it's a liquid, so it blends into the skin. And then I'm setting it with Laura Mercier's Under Eye Brightening Powder, Secret Brightening Powder. I love using this because it's lightweight, sets the concealer in really nicely so there's no creasing and no transfer of the eyeshadows underneath it. And Emily gets this a lot because of, you know, the eye area touching the cheek, the higher up cheekbone. And that can happen to a lot of people where the eyeshadows transfer or the mascara because they're cheekbone position. So always setting the concealer is great, but not to do it with a heavy powder because you don't want your eyes to look more creasy. You want them to look less wrinkly. So this Laura Mercier brightening powder is wonderful. Then I'm using a little concealer on the other areas of her face, but she doesn't need much. I'm setting it in with MAC's Prep and Prime Translucent Finishing Powder. This is great because I used more foundation to give her coverage, so I just want to use a light, super light powder to set it all in. You don't want to do a heavy powder and a heavy foundation, otherwise it's too much. So either lighter foundation with a heavier powder or vice versa. So in this case, I did the heavier foundation with a lighter powder. Then I'm coming in with Anastasia of Beverly Hills' Dip Brow Pomade, and the color is medium brown. This is more waterproof, stays in place. It is a gel, it does take practice, but I like using this on her. She does have her brows microbladed, and then I just go in and fill them in and give them a little more fullness, a little more color, especially after we put some foundation down. So this will stay put. Once it sets, it dries and stays in place. I also use sometimes Anastasia's pencils on her brow, or the Anastasia powders in the brow kit, as well as some of the MAC brow pencils. So I switch off, but this day I was using the Anastasia pomade. Then I come in and clean it up with a little concealer around the edges, make sure everything's perfect and set in place. Already you can tell her eyes are just popping and standing out with the golds. Then I'm using Doll 10's, this is their contour and blush palette. The blush I used is Blushful and the contour color is called Sculpted. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm contouring her with a contoured angled brush. And also adding warmth to the skin. I don't like to over contour, but at least contour to where her face has more definition and it adds some warmth. So I do this around the face, underneath the cheekbone to give her that angle. Doll 10's makeup products are great as well. They are all natural and I think only have 10 ingredients is their goal in each product. So just got turned on to their makeup brand and really like it. And the palettes are great because you have options with the colors, and that contour one has highlights, blush, and contour. So it's a great palette to use. Then I'm taking a little crease brush and just doing a little contouring on her nose, just thinning down the sides just slightly, and using that to tip off the nose. Now I'm coming in with Anastasia of Beverly Hills Highlight Amrezy, which was a limited edition highlighter. But I'm highlighting the tip of her nose, underneath her eyes, in kind of the C shape along the side of her temples, and the Cupid's bow, a little bit on the chin, and a little bit on the forehead. Then I'm coming back in with the Doll 10 palette and using the blush, which was the color Blushful. This just adds a little pop of color to her cheeks. So from here on out, she is pretty much finished. We just have to add her lips. But I'm gonna come back in and do some finishing touches around her eye area, make sure everything's blended into the foundation and the highlights, adding some more color to her outside crease area, and then a little bit below the eye to finish off the look. I always think it's nice to pull a color from the eye look down underneath because it makes it look really cohesive and pulls it together quite nicely. And this look for this reunion show, we wanted to do a more bronzy J-Lo glow type of look. Last reunion show, we did a more Hollywood glam smoky eye. So this year we wanted to mix it up just a little bit, and it turned out gorgeous. It was flawless on her. It photographed so well on stage and looked so good with her skin tone and her coloring. And here, the last finishing touch, I'm adding some mascara to the eyelash to just pull the fake lash into her natural lash. And I like to do this because it darkens up any of the eyelashes that have been covered by shadow. And then a final finishing touch with MAC's Fix Plus as well to set the makeup in. This hydrates the skin and sets the product in on the skin for a long time. Then I used Doll 10's lip scrub to scrub off any dry skin, and a little cocoa butter stick to add some moisture to her lips before I put the liners on. These liners are from MAC. I used Cork and Oak and mixed them together. This was supposed to be a more brown, neutral tone lip, so these liners really do that for her and make her lips stand out. I kind of like to overdraw lips, but Emily has really perfectly pouty lips, so I don't have to do that much of overdrawing on her. But you can always overdraw just to give your lips a little bit more volume on the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to come in with a nude tone. The best choices for nude, the one I'm using is Max Color in Myth, and I'm mixing another Cream Cup, another nude into it. But the rule of thumb is normally if you go with a shade lighter than your lip tone, you can kind of get a great nude. So pick something similar to the tone of your lip, and that's how you've got a great nude. And then just touching up the lips a little bit more, making sure it's all edged in there, staying in place. And I used a gloss from Wet n Wild called Pisces, and it has a little sparkle to it. It's really pretty. Just makes the lips really pop. Any gloss with sparkle in it will really hit the light and reflect really well, so I sometimes like to use a little glitter gloss. And then we are almost done wrapping up this gorgeous look on Miss Emily, and there you are. She's bronzed, she's golden, she's smoky, she's glamorous, and I hope you guys enjoyed this look. I will have all the products listed at the bottom. Here's her final look from the reunion day. You can see she is absolutely stunning. I can't wait to show you guys more and do more videos on Miss Emily. So come back to my channel, stay tuned, like and share with your friends. Thanks so much.